Hey, Breezy. It's me, your splashy best friend, Drippy. I'm bouncing around in the middle of the big blue ocean right now, feeling all tingly and happy because I was just thinking about our giant, wonderful home. Earth is the most amazing place in the whole universe, and I think we should tell every kid who's listening all about it. We can start from the very, very beginning, when Earth was brand new, then talk about what it's really made of, and finish by explaining why it's so super important that we love it and take care of it. What do you say, my whooshy pal? Are you ready to chat with me for a long, long time and make this the best story ever?
Whoosh. Oh, Drippy, you always make me spin with excitement. I'm Breezy, the wind who races over mountains and tickles the tops of the tallest trees. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. I blow across every corner of this planet every single day, so I've seen so many secrets. Let's do this together, just the two of us talking like we always do, nice and friendly. We'll start at the beginning, because that's where every good story begins. Imagine this, a long, long, long time ago, more than 4.5 billion years ago, the whole universe was a huge swirly cloud of dust and gas. Then gravity, that invisible hug that pulls things close, started squeezing parts of the cloud together. In the middle, a bright star was born, our sun, and around it little clumps grew bigger and bigger until they became planets. One of those clumps became Earth. At first, Earth was a wild, fiery ball, so hot that the whole surface was melted rock, glowing orange and red. No oceans, no trees, no animals, and definitely no little water drops like you yet.
Splash! That sounds so different from the cozy world I know today. So Earth was just a hot, bubbling, fiery ball spinning around the sun. Volcanoes were popping everywhere like giant fireworks, shooting lava and steam high into the sky. The air was thick with gases that would have made you cough if you tried to breathe it. But Earth is tough. Slowly, over millions and millions of years, it started to cool down. The outside turned hard, like the shell on a giant egg. That's the crust we live on now. And then something super cool happened. Comets and asteroids, like icy snowballs from space, came zooming in and crashed into Earth. When they smashed, all their ice melted and filled up the low places, making the very first oceans. That's where I was born, Breezy. Those ancient drops are still here, just traveling around and around in the big water cycle. I feel so special knowing I'm part of something that old.
Whoosh. And I love that you're part of that story, Drippy. While the oceans were filling up, the volcanoes kept coughing out gases, and those gases made a new blanket of air around the planet. That's the atmosphere, my favorite playground. At first, there was almost no oxygen, so nothing big could live yet. But then, deep in your oceans, the tiniest little living things, bacteria so small you'd need a magic microscope to see them, started to do something amazing. They used sunlight to make their food, and as a little side effect, they breathed out oxygen. Drop by drop, breath by breath, the air filled with oxygen. That changed everything. Now plants could grow, first in the water and then on land. I remember, well, in my windy dreams, swirling through the very first green forests. Those plants were tiny at first, but they kept making more and more oxygen, and the whole planet started to feel alive.
Oh, Breezy, I get bubbly just thinking about it. After the plants came the animals. First little wiggly things in the oceans, then fish with shiny scales, then some brave fish grew legs and crawled onto the land. They became amphibians, like giant frogs. Then came the reptiles, and after them, hold on to your breezes, the dinosaurs. Can you imagine huge creatures as tall as houses walking around? Some ate only plants and had long necks to reach the treetops. Others had shark teeth and ran fast to catch their dinner. They lived on Earth for millions and millions of years. I flowed in rivers they drank from, and you blew through the ferns they hid in. It must have been so loud and exciting back then.
It was noisy, Drippy. The ground shook when the big ones walked. But then, about 66 million years ago, a giant rock from space, bigger than a whole city, came crashing down. It hit so hard that it made fires all over the world and kicked up a huge cloud of dust that blocked the sun for years and years. The plants couldn't grow, the plant eaters got hungry, and then the meat eaters had nothing to eat. Most of the dinosaurs disappeared. It was a very sad time, but Earth didn't give up. After the dust settled, new animals had their turn. The mammals, furry, warm-blooded creatures, grew bigger. Little mouse-like animals became elephants and whales, and much later, people. Humans are the newest kids on the block, only about 200,000 years old, but they're clever and they can choose to help or hurt the planet.
That's why I get a little worried sometimes, but mostly hopeful. After the dinosaurs, Earth had big ice ages. Huge sheets of ice covered whole countries, and I turned into snow and ice and slid down mountains as glaciers. You blew freezing winds that made blizzards swirl. Then the planet warmed up again, the ice melted, rivers rushed, and new plants grew. The last big ice age ended about 12,000 years ago, and that's when humans started planting seeds and building little villages. They learned to use fire to cook and stay warm, and they painted stories on cave walls. Rivers like the ones I flow in gave them water and rich soil to grow food. That's how farms started, and towns, and then big cities.
Whoosh! And humans kept learning. They made boats and sailed across my oceans. They built tall pyramids and long walls. They invented wheels and writing and machines. But all that time, they were still living on the same Earth that cooled from a fireball and grew oceans from space ice. Now let's talk about what Earth really is, because it's not just a story. It's a giant living ball. From far away in space, it looks like a beautiful blue marble with swirls of white clouds. It's a rocky planet, the third one from the sun. If you could slice it open like the biggest apple ever, you'd see layers. The thin outside layer is the crust, only a few miles thick in most places. That's where the land and oceans sit. Under the crust is the mantle, hot, thick rock that moves very slowly, like super slow honey. Deeper still is the outer core, liquid metal so hot it would melt anything. And right in the middle is the inner core, solid iron hotter than the surface of the sun.
Wow, that makes me feel tiny, but also proud. The crust is where we play, continents drifting like giant puzzle pieces on the mantle. When they bump, mountains rise or the ground shakes with earthquakes. I love flowing through the cracks and helping shape the land. Earth spins around once every day, so the sun rises and sets, and we get day and night. It travels around the sun once every year, and that trip gives us the 4 seasons. In summer, I evaporate fast and make big, fluffy clouds. In winter, I turn into snowflakes that you blow into pretty patterns. Earth also has a moon that pulls on my oceans and makes the tides go up and down twice a day. The moon is like a gentle friend who helps me move.
And the atmosphere is my big blanket. It's made of mostly nitrogen and oxygen with a little bit of other gases. That blanket keeps the planet warm enough for life and protects us from dangerous rays from the sun. When meteors fall, they burn up in the atmosphere and make shooting stars. Earth also has a magnetic field, like a giant invisible shield that comes from the hot spinning core. That shield keeps the sun's windy particles from blowing our air away. That's why we can see pretty green and purple lights dancing in the sky near the poles. Those are the auroras, and I love swirling through them.
My favorite part is the water. Earth is covered in water on 71% of its surface. That's why it looks so blue from space. There are 5 big oceans, thousands of rivers, and millions of lakes. The deepest spot is the Mariana Trench, deeper than Mount Everest is tall. If you dropped the tallest mountain into that trench, the top would still be underwater. I live down there too, in the cold, dark places where strange glowing fish swim. But most of my time is spent in the water cycle. I evaporate from the ocean when the sun warms me. I rise into the air. You carry me as a cloud. I get cold and fall as rain or snow. I flow down mountains and rivers, soak into the ground, and eventually I come back to the ocean. It's the best game ever, and it keeps the whole planet fresh and alive.
That cycle is our teamwork, Drippy. Without it, the land would be dry and nothing could grow. Now think about all the life on Earth. It's the only place we know that has so many living things. There are forests so thick the sunlight barely reaches the ground, deserts where cacti store water for years, coral reefs brighter than any rainbow, and icy poles where penguins slide on their bellies. Every creature has a special job. Trees give oxygen, bees carry pollen so fruits can grow, worms mix the soil so plants can eat, If one kind disappears, it can make everything harder for the others. That's called biodiversity, and it makes Earth strong and beautiful.
That's why Earth is so important, Breezy. First of all, it's our only home. Every person, every animal, every plant lives right here. There's nowhere else to go if we break it. Earth gives us the air we breathe, mostly from the trees and the tiny plants in the ocean. It gives us fresh water to drink and to wash with. It gives us soil to grow food so we don't go hungry. It gives us wood for houses, metals for tools, and even the rocks we use to build roads. Without Earth being healthy, none of that would work.
And it's important for fun, too. Kids can run on beaches, splash in puddles after my rain, climb trees, fly kites in my breezes, and watch butterflies. Earth is full of wonders that make us happy. The Grand Canyon is a giant, colorful scar carved by rivers over millions of years. You and your river friends did that with patience and time. The Amazon rainforest is so big it makes its own weather. I blow through it and come out smelling like flowers. The Great Barrier Reef is an underwater city full of colorful fish and turtles. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain, covered in snow where you turn into ice. The Nile River floods every year and leaves rich soil for farmers.
Earth is also important because it teaches us. We learn about patience from how mountains grow slowly. We learn about teamwork from how bees and flowers help each other. We learn about recycling because I go around and around in the water cycle and never get used up. And we learn about taking care of things. When people cut too many trees, less oxygen is made and the air gets warmer. When factories send smoke into the sky, I carry dirty clouds and the rain can become acid that hurts the forests. When trash goes into the ocean, it hurts the fish and the coral. But the good news is, we can fix things. We can plant trees so I have more places to rain and you have more leaves to rustle. We can clean rivers so my water stays clear. We can turn off lights and use less energy so the air stays clean.
Kids can do so many little things that add up to big help. If every child planted one tree, that would be millions of new trees breathing for us. If every child turned the faucet off while brushing teeth, we'd save oceans of water. If every child picked up one piece of litter, the beaches would sparkle again. Earth is important for the future, too. The kids listening right now are going to grow up and be the ones who invent cleaner ways to make electricity, who explore the oceans, who protect the animals. Maybe one day they'll even help other planets, but they'll always remember that Earth is the special blue home that started it all.
Let's talk about some more amazing facts so the kids never forget how cool Earth is. The oldest rocks on Earth are almost 4 billion years old, older than the dinosaurs, older than the oceans we know. The longest river is the Nile, which flows through deserts and makes green strips where people can farm. The highest waterfall is Angel Falls, where I tumble down for almost a mile. The biggest living thing is a giant sequoia tree, so wide that a whole family could stand inside it. The smallest animals are tiny insects that still do big jobs. Earth has every kind of weather: hot deserts, freezing poles, rainy jungles, and gentle meadows. It has day and night, seasons, and even leap years because the spin isn't exactly perfect.
And humans have left their marks in good ways, too. They built national parks where animals can live safely. They made wind turbines that catch my power and turn it into electricity without smoke. They made solar panels that use the sun's warmth. They invented ways to clean dirty water so it can be used again. From space, astronauts look back and see one single planet with no lines between countries. That picture makes everyone realize we're all in the same boat. Actually, the same big blue spaceship.
That's why Earth feels like a mother to everyone. Some people call her Gaia, the Earth Mother. She takes care of us, and we need to take care of her right back. When we feel sad, walking in a forest or listening to waves can make us feel better. When we're happy, we can share that happiness by helping the planet. Earth has been through hot fireballs, giant asteroids, ice ages, and still she keeps giving life. She's strong, but she's not invincible. We have to be her helpers.
Let's imagine what the future could look like if we all help. Cities with gardens on every roof, so I can blow through flowers even in the middle of town. Rivers so clean that kids can swim and fish without worry. Forests growing bigger every year. Animals coming back to places they left long ago. And kids like the ones listening growing up to be scientists, artists, teachers, and protectors who remember the story we're telling right now.
Breezy, we've been talking for such a long time, and there's still so much more to say. Earth has deep caves where glowworms light up the walls like stars. It has volcanoes that sometimes make new islands in the ocean. It has coral reefs that are actually alive and growing. It has deserts where flowers bloom after rain like magic. Every single place is special, and every single drop in Breeze is part of the big family.
Whoosh! And the best part is that the story isn't finished. Earth is still changing every day, and we get to be part of the next chapter. So to every kid listening, thank you for being here on this beautiful planet. Splash in puddles, fly kites, plant seeds, pick up trash, and always remember that Earth is our only home and she loves us back when we love her.
That's right, Breezy. I'm going to keep cycling through rivers and clouds and oceans, keeping everything fresh. You're going to keep blowing pollen and clouds and fresh air. Together, we'll keep the planet spinning happily. And every time a child laughs outside, every time someone plants a flower, every time we see a rainbow after rain, we'll know Earth is smiling too. Thank you for listening to our long story.
Whoosh, and we could keep going forever, but we'll stop here so the kids can go outside and hug a tree or splash in a puddle. Remember, Drippy and Breezy love you, and so does our big, beautiful blue-green Earth. Take good care of her, and she'll take good care of you.